ओंटारियो के चीफ मैडिकल अफसर डॉक्टर किरण मून ने सूबे में कोविड-19 स्थिति बारे एक अपडेट प्रदान की। उन्होंने दस्सिया कि सूबे अंदर ओमिक्रॉन वेरिएंट के केस लगातार वध रहे हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि ओंटारियो कोविड-19 साइंस एडवाइजरी टेबल का अंदाजा है कि ओमिक्रॉन वेरिएंट वाला हरेक व्यक्ति औसतन 3 होरां नूं संक्रमित करता है, जो कि सूबे में तेजी नाल वध रहे केसां की गिनती लई जिम्मेवार है।
Today we are reporting 3,453 cases of COVID-19, and our provincial weekly cases incidence rate is 112 cases per 100,000 people. This represents exponential growth of cases in the province, and we are currently tracking to have more cases per day than we have ever had during the entire pandemic. Ontario's percent positivity has been steadily increasing as well, and is currently 7.3% for the week of December 12th to 18th. Our diagnostic network processed 44,123 tests yesterday. Thank you to everyone that came forward to get tested. Increasing demand is making it more challenging to access timely testing, and individuals seeking test appointments may experience longer wait times in some areas of the province. Hospitalizations have increased by 9% in the past week, and while the ICU occupancy remains stable, we anticipate that in the coming days and weeks we will start to see a greater impact of Omicron on hospitalizations and our intensive care unit. Early evidence indicates that Omicron is 4 to 8 times more transmissible than the Delta variant, and as of last week, Omicron has become the dominant strain in Ontario. This variant moves quickly, and we need to do the same. As of 12:01 a.m. on Sunday, additional public health measures are in effect that will help limit close contacts and curb transmission in higher risk indoor settings where masks cannot always be worn. These include many settings where proof of vaccination is required. Measures include 50% capacity limits in gyms, restaurants, bars, concert venues, and movie theaters. Social gathering limits were also reduced to 10 people indoors and 25 people outdoors.
कोविड-19 के नवे वेरीएंट के फैलाव ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਦਿਆਂ BC ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਅਜੇ ਸ਼ੁੱਕਰਵਾਰ ਹੀ ਕੁਝ ਪਾਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, ਪਰ ਸਿਹਤ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਸ ਮਾਮਲੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਜ ਹੋਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਸਖਤ ਪਾਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ। ਸੂਬਾਈ ਹੈਲਥ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਸੂਬਿਆਂ ਵਾਂਗ BC ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਓਮਿਕਰੋਨ वेरिएंट ਦਾ ਫੈਲਾਅ ਬਹੁਤ तेजी नाल हो रहा है ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਗੰਭੀਰ ਖਤਰੇ ਵਾਲੀ ਸਥਿਤੀ ਪੈਦਾ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਹੈਲਥ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਹਰੇਕ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਦੀ ਰੋਕਥਾਮ ਲਈ ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਦੀ ਤੀਜੀ ਡੋਜ਼ ਤਹਿਤ ਬੂਸਟਰ ਸ਼ਾਟ ਦੇਣ ਨੂੰ ਅਜੇ ਸਮਾਂ ਲੱਗੇਗਾ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੋਰ ਸਖਤ ਪਾਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹਨ।
As you know, we have seen things change in the last few days. There are still many things we do not yet know about Omicron and its impacts on the healthcare system and on people in British Columbia and around the world. I've spent quite a bit of time with colleagues, talking with experts from around the world and watching what is happening globally. As I mentioned last Friday, we were putting together a puzzle, and it still has a lot of spaces and holes, but some things are becoming very clear. One of those is that Omicron is definitely spreading rapidly and is more transmissible than what we have seen with the Delta variants that we've been managing over the last few months. In addition, we're seeing it now rapidly replace Delta as the predominant variant that we are seeing causing illness here in British Columbia, and particularly in the areas that have high populous areas that have had low rates in the past little while in Vancouver Coastal and Fraser Health. There are some things that we don't yet know the details of, and one of those is severity of illness, the potential for significant impacts on our hospital system. And I don't need to say how fragile and how stretched our health care system is, from the community, from long-term care, assisted living, into our acute care facilities at all levels. We know that people have been working very hard. Healthcare workers, whether they're doing case and contact management, testing, tracing, whether we're working in the immunization clinics, in our hospitals, in our long-term care homes. As cases go up, we are stretched more and more. We need to take measures to make sure that we mitigate any impact on our healthcare system. And over this past weekend, it's become clear that our best case scenario about how Omicron might be different in terms of severity are looking less and less likely. We have seen an increase in hospitalization in places like the UK that are ahead of us in terms of transmission of Omicron. And more recently and closer to home, we've seen this as well in Quebec, which is very concerning. We are seeing the replacement, as I mentioned, of Omicron from Delta, and we're also seeing what we call explosive outbreaks, which have to do with larger numbers of people being exposed at the same time, but also a shortening of the incubation period that we're seeing. So the transmission between generations is shorter, and we've seen that around the world as well, in places like Copenhagen, and looking at specific outbreaks in the United States and here in Canada. Those are things that are worrisome to us because it can signal a dramatic impact in a short period of time on our hospital capacity.
ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਡਗ ਫੋਰਡ ਨੇ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਵਿਖੇ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਦੀ ਬੂਸਟਰ ਡੋਜ਼ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਕੀਤੀ, ਜਿਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਲਗਵਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੇਰਿਆ। ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਫੋਰਡ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਲੋਕ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਅਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਵੀ ਡੋਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਗਵਾਈ, ਉਹ ਜਲਦ ਤੋਂ ਜਲਦ ਆਪਣਾ ਟੀਕਾਕਰਨ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ। ਇਸ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਮੇਅਰ ਜੌਨ ਟੋਰੀ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਬੂਸਟਰ ਡੋਜ਼ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਪੱਤਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ।
So just ended up getting my booster shot, and I just encourage everyone, please get out there. If you haven't taken any shots, get your first, get your second, or get your booster. I want to thank everyone across Ontario who went and got their boosters, but I especially want to thank folks like Amal doing a great job, and everyone else delivering the vaccinations. We did over 206,000 yesterday in one day. Those are staggering numbers. We have well over 200,000 appointments booked just on the provincial portal, not mentioning the pharmacy portal and the primary care docs. So, folks, we're really gearing up to hit anywhere from 200,000 to 300,000 every single day. And again, I just want to thank everyone who's getting their shots and everyone who's delivering the shots. It's the real Ontario spirit. Team Ontario, let's keep going. Once again, because of the great work these folks do, we will be the world leaders once again. So thank you, and God bless everyone, and want to wish.
I came here to Thorncliffe Park to get my booster shot. I booked it about a week ago when eligibility was reduced to 50 years of age through the booking system, and this is one that came up. And I'm joining a number of other people in getting my booster shot, and of course we've been hard at work as a city trying to increase our capacity at the fastest pace that we possibly can, and we have increased it already in the days since the province changed the eligibility to include people 18 plus from about 400,000 doses per month for the booster shot to now 1.2 million shots per month. And I'm pleased to say that already, as a city, we have put into people's arms 457,000 third doses. 457,000 booster shots have been administered to people in the city of Toronto, and of course that number is going to go up every day, as all of our healthcare partners, because we have a network consisting of people who are operating the 5 city-run clinics, a large number of clinics run by hospitals and other healthcare organizations, 450 heading towards 500, hopefully pharmacies, and doctors' offices, and all of those combined together to make up Team Toronto. And as I say, we're well along as a city at 457,000 third doses, booster shots administered, and 184,000 third doses have been delivered by Team Toronto in the last 7 days. And so that's a number we continue to work on. That's a number that will, of course, again, have a daily total, and we will keep people informed of that.
ਨੋਵਾ ਸਕੋਸ਼ੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਤ ਅਤੇ ਖਜ਼ਾਨਾ ਬੋਰਡ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਐਲਨ ਮੈਕਮਾਸਟਰ ਨੇ ਸੂਬਾਈ ਬਜਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਇੱਕ ਅਪਡੇਟ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕੀਤੀ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਨੋਵਾ ਸਕੋਸ਼ੀਆ ਦੀ ਸਮੁੱਚੀ ਆਰਥਿਕਤਾ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਕਾਰਨ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਅਨਿਸ਼ਚਿਤਤਾ ਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਠੀਕ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਵਿੱਤ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਮੀਦ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਆਰਥਿਕ ਪ੍ਰਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਮਾਲੀਏ ਤੇ ਸਕਾਰਾਤਮਕ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਪਿਆ, ਜਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਲਈ ਆਪਣੇ ਤਰਜੀਹੀ ਖੇਤਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਿਵੇਸ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਆਸਾਨ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ।
Over the past 2 years, Nova Scotia's economy has experienced volatility and uncertainty due to the pandemic. And with the recent increase in case numbers and the Omicron variant, we know that Nova Scotia, like the rest of the world, remains in a period of uncertainty. However, if we look at the whole fiscal year, we are forecasting an anticipated surplus of $108 million. This is an improvement of $693 million from the $585 million deficit estimated at budget time. This improved position is primarily due to better than anticipated economic performance and improved provincial revenues. Nova Scotia has shown positive signs in recent economic indicators. Our economy contracted by 2.5% in 2020, but that was the second lowest of all provinces and significantly better than our previous estimate of a 5.3% reduction in economic growth. Exports have returned to pre-pandemic levels. In November, we rose above pre-pandemic employment levels, and we've hit the highest level of employment on record. And just last week, Nova Scotia's population hit 1 million. While the overall Nova Scotian economy is improving, we are still seeing that progress is uneven, and there are sectors and industries that remain heavily impacted by COVID. This overall improved economic performance contributes to higher than anticipated revenues. Our total revenue is now projected to be $12.8 billion, up $1 billion from budget, with improvements in personal income tax, corporate tax, HST, and motor fuel tax since the September update. We also have one-time prior year adjustments of $349 million, which reflects both updated revenue information for 2020 and better economic performance than what had been expected. On the spending side, total expenses are projected to be $12.9 billion. This is an increase of $379 million from budget, largely due to our COVID-19 response and additional investments in our government's priority areas. Over the past few months, we've been able to make significant investments as well as have an improved financial position. We are directing more funding into healthcare and healthcare professionals, seniors care, housing, and programs that will support communities and our economic recovery. Throughout this pandemic, Nova Scotians and businesses continue to do what is needed to keep each other safe.
ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਡਗ ਫੋਰਡ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਕ ਮੈਂਬਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੈਕਸੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਮੁਜ਼ਾਹਰਾਕਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੀ ਦਾਖਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ। ਇਹ ਖੁਲਾਸਾ ਫੋਰਡ ਦੀ ਤਰਜਮਾਨ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ। ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਪੁਸ਼ਟੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਮੁਜ਼ਾਹਰਾਕਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਈਟੋਬਿਕੋ ਸਥਿਤ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਘੇਰਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੀ ਵੈਕਸੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਸਟ੍ਰੈਟੇਜੀ ਦਾ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸਨ। ਜ਼ਿਕਰਯੋਗ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਦੇ ਪਸਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਰੋਕਣ ਲਈ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਹੈਲਥ ਮਾਪਦੰਡ ਐਲਾਨੇ ਗਏ ਸਨ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਮੁਜ਼ਾਹਰਾਕਾਰੀ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਅਕਸਰ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ।
There's nowhere that seems off limits to this group. I think that it's sort of an excuse, and it's very disappointing when you don't feel like the leader who's supposed to be at the helm is really on the same ship.
ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰਪਤੀ ਜੋ ਬਾਈਡਨ ਨੇ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਦੀ ਨਵੀਂ ਲਹਿਰ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟੀਕਾਕਰਨ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਅਪੀਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰਪਤੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਦੇਸ਼ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਹੈ। ਬਾਈਡਨ ਨੇ ਮੰਗਲਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਵਾਈਟ ਹਾਊਸ 'ਚ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਦੇਸ਼ 'ਚ ਕਰੋਨਾ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਦੇ ਨਵੇਂ ਰੂਪ ਓਮਿਕਰੋਨ ਦੇ ਵੱਧਦੇ ਮਾਮਲਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਨਜਿੱਠਣ ਲਈ 50 ਕਰੋੜ ਮੁਫਤ ਰੈਪਿਡ ਟੈਸਟ, ਹਸਪਤਾਲਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਹੂਲਤਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਟੀਕਾਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਗਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਦੁੱਗਣਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ।
Tens of millions have gotten sick. We've all experienced upheaval in our lives. But while COVID has been a tough adversary, we've shown that we're tougher. Tougher because we have the power of science and vaccines that prevent illness and save lives. And tougher because of our resolve. So that, let me answer some questions that lay out the steps the Vice President and I are taking to prepare for the rising number of cases experts tell us we can expect in the weeks ahead. First, how concerned should you be about Omicron which is now the dominant variant in this country, and it happened so quickly? The answer is straightforward. If you're not fully vaccinated, you have good reason to be concerned. You're at a high risk of getting sick. And if you get sick, you're likely to spread it to others, including friends and family. And the unvaccinated have a significantly higher risk of ending up in a hospital or even dying. Almost everyone who has died from COVID-19 in the past many months has been unvaccinated. Unvaccinated. But if you're among the majority of Americans who are fully vaccinated, and especially if you've gotten the booster shot, that third shot, you have much less reason to worry. You have a high degree of protection against severe illness. But because Omicron spreads so easily, we'll see some fully vaccinated people get COVID, potentially in large numbers. There will be positive cases in every office, even here in the White House, among the vaccinated from Omicron. But these cases are highly unlikely to lead to serious illness. Vaccinated people who get COVID may get ill, but they're protected from severe illness and death. That's why you should still remain vigilant. According to our doctors, even if you're fully vaccinated, you should wear a mask when indoors and in public settings. Wearing a mask provides extra protection for you and those around you. And I know some Americans are wondering if you can safely celebrate the holidays with your family and friends. The answer is yes, you can. If you and those you celebrate with are vaccinated, particularly if you've gotten your booster shot. If you are vaccinated and follow the precautions that we all know well, you should feel comfortable celebrating Christmas and the holidays as you planned it.